Welcome in. Happy Wednesday Eve, Thanksgiving Eve. This is the Everything Buckeye Nation show. So glad you've joined us. I'm Jake Smith, as always, joined by Corey Boyd. Corey, happy early Thanksgiving and happy week of the game. How you feeling?
Doing good, doing good. I'm doing my best baby impression, getting them hands going. We getting ready over here, getting ready. I know y'all pumped like it's Friday, but it's not the game that everybody waits for. I'm not gonna lie, I keep it real. I'm a little bit nervous for this one. Just a tad bit nervous. When it comes to that team and when it comes to us. I don't care. If they're 0 and 11, I'm just because you never know what can happen. I'm just a tad bit nervous. I know we're the better team. I know all of that, but just a tad bit nervous. But it is what it is. I can't wait to get rolling so we can shut them up once and for all.
At least until the season's over, because as soon as we hit the off season, the Wolverines are champions of the off season every year, dude. Every year, pick them to win it all. Pick them to win the Big Ten. They were favorites to beat the Buckeyes. And here we are, 11-0 Buckeyes on the road in the Big House Saturday at noon on Fox. Whew. I'm getting fired up, and like you said, it feels like Friday. A lot of people, if you're working tomorrow, I'm sorry. But it sure feels like a Friday. This is the longest week of the year, man, because of what we are waiting for on Saturday at noon. We're inching closer. I'm just trying to revel in every moment of it. Normally, I'm all riled up and it can't get here fast enough, but I'm trying to slow myself down this year, really take it all in, enjoy the moment, and it'll be here before we know it. And like you said, I'm getting nervous. With each passing moment, as we do, it could be 11-0 versus 0-11, but you never know in the game. So appreciate everybody who's joined us so far. We're going to get into the college football playoff rankings and, of course, preview the game and get some bold predictions, score predictions. I want to hear all of that from you. First, let us know where you're watching from. What are your initial thoughts on the game itself? We are very excited here and getting there. We are very, very close, just inching closer and closer, counting down the hour. Appreciate everybody in the comments section. I want to shout a few people out. My wife, Laura Smith, my personal number one supporter. Chris Lyons. My mom is in here too. David Hemphill, William Dunn. David Campbell says Chase will eat. And a lot of other comments I had to close out that kind of got out of there, that closed some out. But if we missed you, just leave another one, and I'll get you next time. But yeah, man, I'm feeling a little bit nervous. 11-0 versus 9-2. Wolverines, man, they've got nothing to lose. They got nothing to play for but pride, and that's something that worries me a little bit. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, that's why I'm worried. They have nothing to lose. Literally, if they wanted to, they don't have to punt. Let's be honest. You don't. If you wanted to, why punt? Why? For what? For what? If you win, you get the spoil the Buckeye season. Yeah, and you can be the king of social media. Woo! Woo! Yeah. If you lose, so what? Yeah, you're down, but you've lost for the past 7 years. It's nothing new. So 4th and 8, F it. Let's go for it. What do we have to? Seriously, why punt the ball? We're number 13. They're number 1. We're favored to lose by 9 at home. I'm going to go for it. Every 4th down, put the pressure to your neck. Now, that's not how they're going to coach, but hey, why not? What do you really have to lose? You're not going to the Big Ten title game. You'll go to a bowl game, but your fans are sick of going to the Little Caesars, Pizza Hut, Domino's, stuffed crust bowl. They're sick of all that junk. Why not just go for it on every 4th down? You're sick of losing. Put pressure on us to stop you. Why not blitz Justin Fields every freaking play? Engage 8 on Madden. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. Just do it. What do you have to lose? You have nothing. That would be my mind frame. But that's just me. That's what makes me nervous because you don't know what could happen. Us, on the other hand, we have everything to lose. Everything. If we lose, it's over. What's the point? So that's what makes me nervous. I know we have the better team. I keep it real, but that's what makes me nervous. Now, if I'm the Buckeyes, I'm going there like this. We're going to prove to you we're better because we're sick of hearing it. We're sick of everything once and for all. Shut up, okay? We're going to punch you in the mouth, all right? That's enough. Enough is enough of this. I'm not even going to say their name because I can't say the M. This Michigan crap, all right? Enough is enough. We're here to punch you in the mouth. You want to go for it on fourth down? Fine. Predator, get him. All right? That's what we're going to do. And you better pray that it does not snow because your quarterback is iffy at throwing anyways. So you better hope it's a nice sunny day. Okay? You need all the sun you can get. That's both teams' mindset to me.
I mean, I think you're spot on, man. And it's kind of weird. This is one of the first games in a long time that like doesn't have a Big Ten title on the line, or at least an appearance in the Big Ten title game. So it's kind of strange because, and I was seeing some of this on Twitter today about how, well, maybe Justin Fields really is dinged up and we should just rest him because even if we lose, we'll still play in the Big Ten title game next week and win that one and still get into the playoffs. Justin Fields is not sitting, okay? I saw a comment asked about his hand. Everybody loves the rant, Corey. Way to get us kicked off, fired up. It's rivalry week. Let's go. Love to see it. Love to hear it. I saw somebody's comment. See if I can find it here. About, I don't know, man. I think the Wolverines are working for Facebook right now. They're deleting these comments. I can't seem to find them. But Fields' hand is fine, all right? I think he hurt his left hand when he fumbled against Penn State last week. He's fine. He's going to play. He took a few shots in that game that I really didn't like, especially at the end. I wanted to slap Ryan Day across the face, admittedly, when Fields took that keeper on fourth down and almost got hurt, was down on the turf for a few minutes, and all of Buckeye Nation couldn't breathe for about 180 seconds. That was awful. Alas, here we are. Fields is a big-time competitor. He'll be just fine. Justin will be just fine.
Yeah. I got some comments on YouTube. Shout out to everybody on YouTube. Ricardo says, we want food. Joseph says, most analysts are calling for an upset. Cheryl, my mama says, hey, fellas, I'm worried too. Wish they stayed number 2. Give them more drive to be number 1. Ricardo says, I'm watching the 2016 game. I'm nervous. And Joseph says, I think Coach Day will use the media, all about the media, how everyone is picking them to beat us after all they have done, and still no one believes in you. Chip is back on their shoulders.
I hope so, man. We need that chip. Because it's funny, this is literally, I mean, this is the biggest game of the season, and it's also a throwaway game. Let me know in the comments section what you think, because I personally, all week, I've been a little more relaxed than usual, and I think it's because, worst case scenario, we lose, and it doesn't affect the rest of our season. What we can do, like, we still really control our own destiny. Now, I don't want that to happen. I don't want to go 12-1 and leave it up to the committee to put us where they want to, because if we give them the chance, they'll screw us over. They'll probably put Baylor ahead of us. But that's the thing. It's like, don't give them that opportunity. Go out. It's a rivalry game. There's a lot of storylines here, dude. A lot of just, in addition to the normal Ohio State Wolverines the game storylines, it's Ryan Day's first year. He poached 2 Wolverine coaches. We haven't even really talked at all about that this week. I haven't seen really much of that. Greg Madison, defensive coordinator, and Al Washington, the linebackers coach, swiped from the Wolverines last year. 2 of their best recruiters, 2 of their best coaches. And look at our defense, huh? You're telling me those guys don't want to make a statement going up north this week? Ryan Day, he wants to make a statement too. Things aren't slowing down here in Columbus because we've kind of heard that. Well, Ryan Day grew up in, the New England area, and there's not, the Northeast. He doesn't really know what this rivalry's all about. He's been here for 3 years and learned under Coach Meyer. I mean, he knows what it's about. He knows what it means to the people here, and he wants to go out and show, hey, just because Urban Meyer left doesn't mean you guys are off the hook. There's a lot to think about going into this one, and I like the idea that our players are going to play extra hard for their coaches that want to make an impact or make a statement. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think our players want to make a statement. They know what this game entails, and they're not looking at it as if, well, even if we lose, we still no. This is the last game they want to lose to have won on their record. Now, if they would have lost to Maryland, Rutgers, FAU, Northwestern, they still wouldn't have been happy. They would have been like, all right, we still got a little bit of a shot. They lose to this team, they're gonna be pissed off. This is the last team you want to lose to. So I don't even think it will put a stain on their own record. They'd be like, but we lost to that team. They want to go undefeated, knowing into the Big Ten title we beat that stinking team up north. That's all the motivation they need. Now, I understand how some people feel if we just would have stayed at number 2, we still have that little oomph that they're still disrespecting us. But if you don't have a chip enough to beat the team up north, I don't know what's wrong with you. Because they are annoying enough that makes you just want to beat them down because that's your rivalry. They've been beat 7 years in a row, and they still have the gumption to go, this is it. This is our year, and still talk trash. I mean, if somebody beats me every single year, of course I have the confidence that this is my time. I'm not going to announce it to the world. I'm just going to shut up and go out and play. But they still do not do it. So I don't believe for an inkling that Ryan Day is letting it happen, or the players themselves are going to be like, even if we lose, we still have a shot. I don't think that's in their mind one bit. They want to finish this season undefeated, going to the Big Ten title to face Wisconsin or Minnesota. We already know they can beat Wisconsin, end it, and go straight to the playoffs with no questions asked.
I'm with you, man, and it's a great point you bring up. We'll switch over here and talk about the new playoff rankings. Ohio State was moved up to 1 last night over LSU. I was a little bit surprised myself. Let me know in the comments, were you surprised, folks, at Ohio State coming in at 1, jumping LSU, who moves to 2, Clemson stays at 3, Georgia stays at 4, and Bama stays at 5. Utah moves up to 6 after Oregon blew it. You knew they would, man. The Pac-12, man, they always do. I mean, God, I was waiting on it. I was like, there's no way we're actually going to get an 11-1 Oregon and 11-1 Utah matchup, are we? Because, boy, that would have been real nice, and the winner would definitely be in. Now there's talks, well, maybe Oregon's not that good. If Utah beats them, should they really be in? Imagine being Utah. You're in a Power 5 conference. The Pac-12 this year is better than the ACC, and it might be better than the Big 12. Probably not, but the Big 12 also sucks, so it's hard to say. But imagine going 12-1, winning your championship game. Your only loss is to 8-4 team at USC, who's ranked 22nd, and you don't get in? I mean, what else are you supposed to do? I don't know, man. I don't know. Let me know in the comments section how you're feeling, what you think about the playoff rankings. Corey, were you surprised to see us go to number 1 this early? Because I kind of thought it would come maybe after this week if we put on a dominant showing. But what did you think about the jump to number 1?
Before I get that, I have a comment that I don't know if they're a Team Up North fan, but I'm going to read it anyways. I don't know how, of course, to read it, especially the way they spelled the horseshoe. So I'm not sure how to take this. But it says, watch out, the Wolverines may not be the team you think they are. They have been getting better during the season. It's in the big house, all caps, not the horseshoe, SHU, all caps.
Huh.
So I don't know if that's a Wolverine fan, but hey, it is what it is, and that's fine. Like I said, they have been getting better per se. You know, you could look at the teams they played, but you know, it is what it is. They have shown improvement. Like I said, they have nothing to lose. I don't care if Michigan is 0-11. The game makes me nervous because you never know what can happen. Jake, tell you last year, how nervous was I last year when we were playing the team up north? I keep it 100. I was nervous until I seen they couldn't stop a crossing route. I said, well, let's just run the same play. And it worked. Then my nervousness left because I knew we had a leaky defense. And I said, oh, Lord, how are we going to stop anybody? Especially the way we looked against Maryland. Yeah, I was nervous. But we'll see. But to answer your question, I was shocked because we beat Penn State by 11. I said they're going to use that as an excuse. They didn't blow them out. Keep LSU number one. What's the reason to drop LSU? But when I seen us be number one, I said, hey, okay. The committee must really like Ohio State more than what I thought. LSU's defense is terrible. Let's just call a spade a spade. Their defense is terrible, and the committee is punishing them for that. They're punishing them for that terrible defense. Yes, their offense is phenomenal, but their defense is phenomenally bad. It's bad, and they got punished for it. We beat a top 10 team. We could have killed them if it wasn't for our own mistakes. That's not an excuse, but we gave them 14 points. I mean,
maybe that's what the committee saw.
It could have been. But yeah, I was a little shocked at it. I'll take it, though. I mean, listen. You win out, you're in. You lose, you might be out. So 1, 2, it don't matter to me. You win, you're in. Do your job. I don't care where we're at. We just have to win.
I'm with you. I disagree a little bit with I don't care who we play. I don't want any part of Clemson in the semis. I would love to play Clemson in a winner-take-all national championship game, but if we can avoid them in the first round, that would be just lovely. Nobody's watching them because they're beating crappy ACC teams by 35 in every single game, but they've improved a hell of a lot over the year since that scared of North Carolina, and I don't want to play Clemson in the first round in the semis. I don't want to. That's why this 1 seed is so big this year, because you don't want Clemson in the first round. You want, who are they going to put it for? Is it going to be, Georgia's not going to beat LSU. Georgia, even against LSU's defense, I don't think Georgia can score. They're just not that good offensively. Defense, good enough to win a lot of ball games in the SEC. They're like an above average, they're like a little bit better Wisconsin. They might be Wisconsin of the SEC. Great defense, pretty garbage offense, but good enough to get by unless you're playing an elite team. And they've lost. And then you even have your shakeup. Like, they lost to South Carolina. Wisconsin lost to Illinois. Probably shouldn't have happened, but it did. So who's going to be at 4? Is it Georgia? I would love that. Ohio State, Justin Fields against Georgia. Oh my God, we'd put up 50 nice. On them.
That would be nice.
And by 50, maybe not so much. But I can tell you one thing: they wouldn't put up more than 21. Georgia wouldn't. Bama at 5. That would really surprise me if they got in. But they need some chaos, and it's definitely possible because Oregon blew it. And now you just need, a couple things to fall their way, and maybe they get in with Mac Jones. They got to beat Auburn by about 7 touchdowns this Saturday just to even really get into that conversation. Could be Utah at 4. I would love to play Utah at 4. I mean, that's the thing. The difference between the 1 seed and the 2 seed is 1 seed gets the 4 that could be Utah, could be Bama, could be Georgia, could be Baylor or Oklahoma. Any of those, sign me up right now. Do not give me the Clemson Tigers. And it's huge. Moving Ohio State to number 1 is enormous. And I thought they would do it this coming week after Ohio State puts a beat down on the Wolverines in Ann Arbor. And LSU's going to give up 600 yards to Texas A&M this week. I think we talked about this last week. LSU played Ole Miss 2 weekends ago, I believe, and they gave up 614 total yards to a 4-7 Ole Miss team with a freshman quarterback. They had over 400 rushing yards alone. I mean, good God Almighty! And everybody on the committee and all the national media, I shouldn't say all the national media, but the SEC biased media is all coming in hot with LSU has 4 top 10 wins. Show me the top 10 wins, because if you count 6-5 unranked Texas as a top 10 win, you need professional medical assistance, because that's just the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Yeah, they were ranked 9 early in the season because they were way overinflated by preseason polls. So you're going to give LSU credit for that win by what, a touchdown? Now, say it was a top 10 win when Texas is 6-5 and might go to they might see the Wolverines in the Domino's Little Caesar Stuffed Crust Bowl. I mean, I just don't get the idea. If you want to say LSU's wins are better, that's debatable. But you can't say they got 4 top 10 wins, because they don't. Pisses me off.
Yeah, man. It's going to be interesting. I mean, I agree with what you're saying as far as us being number 1. I'm just saying, to me, it doesn't matter if we're now or after beating Michigan. That was my whole point. You just have to win out, and I think we'll be number 1. That was my whole take of now or later. So
I'm with you, man. I mean, this is no different game. If we were playing somebody else this week and it didn't matter, you could say we were looking ahead. You could say we were taking the week off. There's too much. It's funny because there's nothing at stake, but there's everything at stake. It's a pride game for both teams. Michigan's got nothing to lose. Ohio State doesn't really either, except the win streak. It's Ryan Day's first game. We poached their coaches. It's in the big house. It's funny, man, because the Wolverines do this every year under Jim Harbaugh. Every single year. As I switch back over here, it's like they get dominated and beat by the teams that they are not as good as, that they are not favored in. And then they dominate those teams that they're supposed to. And then every year it comes down to the game. They're 9-2, they're 8-3, but they're on a roll lately. They've got a lot of good stuff going for them. How about the beat down to Wisconsin? I mean, what was that, 35-14, something like that? It wasn't that close. How about Ohio State against Wisconsin? 38-7, and their only touchdown came because they blocked a punt. They lose to Penn State. Imagine if we didn't fumble the ball 3 times against Penn State. That game would have been 42-7. I'm just saying, man, they get all this credit for beating the piss out of teams like Indiana. And Indiana actually is a pretty good team this year. They beat Michigan State by like 5 touchdowns. Michigan State sucks. It's the same thing every year, dude. We get to the game, Michigan's hyped up because of they're coming in hot.
I told you after this year, I'm done. If they lose, I'm done. I don't care if we're number 1, to be honest with you. I don't care, because what I heard the beginning of this year, I told you, I'm done. I don't want to hear another word, another peep. Because beginning of the year, what was it? This is it. Weren't we, like, not even mentioned beginning of the year? Weren't we, like, just under the rug? This is their year. We were under the radar.
I'm gonna have to. I don't want to hear it. That out, yeah. I know I've got a graphic somewhere of Ohio State having like a 8% chance to win the Big Ten. How's that going for you?
And Joseph on YouTube, he said, I think we have the mentality to not lose to them, and the team up north has to learn how to win against us.
They do, man. They really do. I'm seeing some comments over here on Facebook. Appreciate everybody in here. Corey Shoemaker, Brian Schwelling, David Hemphill. David Campbell says Day opens up the full playbook Saturday. I wonder if that's kind of why he got so conservative in the Penn State game.
Listen, I thought about that a couple of days later because I was watching the game, and this is the first time, and you mentioned it. I think, I don't know if I read a tweet you did or if you text me, I don't know, but it's the first time that, we don't criticize Ryan Day much here on the show and fans in general. And I think I've said it on the show. There's going to become a time where we're like, yo, Ryan Day, what was that? It was one of those what was that games because he just didn't want to throw the ball. It's like he just reined it in. He said, you know what? That throwing stuff that you know how to do, we're not going to do that this game. What? Now, I know. Now, you posted it. You were dead on with your predictions. Dead on spot. Now, I did say he was going to run Justin Fields more. I didn't say he was going to run him in the ground. Like, I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, just, you thought it was the Urban JT Barrett days. I said, what's going on around here? Like, really? Run some more. Hey, Justin Fields, QB draw. I'm like, did you just not want him to throw because you're saving it for Michigan? Like, what's going on? And then when he let him throw, touchdown KJ Hill. I'm like, that's enough of that. Put it in the pocket.
He was 16 of 22 passing. I mean, he could do it. That's the thing. We went in all week talking about how Penn State's secondary is garbage. And Fields is going to air it out all day on them. And then they only throw 22 passes in the entire game, 11 passes each half. When you break it down like that, only 5 or 6 passes each quarter. That's crazy, dude. We ran the ball 61 times on Saturday and only threw 22 passes. It's like a 70-30 run pass game. And I just didn't understand it because that was Penn State's strength. But what I did like was that we came out, our opening drive of the game went 91 yards, all rushing. We attempted one pass on the drive, and it was incomplete. Penn State was giving up, on average, only 75 rushing yards a game. It was like best in the country or something. And we put 91 on them on the opening drive. It was just kind of like, that's the type of demoralizing drive that I kind of like. If you go at their strength and beat them at their strength, they start thinking a little bit. They start getting in their own heads a little bit. And so I thought after that we'd really open up, dial it up through the air. Because when we did throw the ball, things went very well. 16 of 22, 2 touchdowns to KJ Hill. Chris Olave. By the way, Chris Olave needs the ball thrown his way about 10 times a game.
Yeah.
He only had 2 grabs, dude. He needs 8 to 10 targets on Saturday.
He's a beast, man.
He's so damn good.
He's a beast. He is a monster, man. But yeah, that was the only thing. I'm like, it's like he said, you know what? You think you're good at stopping the run? We're going to run it every single play. Just because we can.
Hey.
I know my defense is good. I'm not worried about you guys. I'm not worried about you guys scoring. Unless we fumble every freaking play, then you might score. But we're just going to run it because we can. We'll throw next week. I'm like, all right. If you feel like
maybe that's what it is. I mean, really, we haven't opened up the playbook since Wisconsin. Did we even do that? I mean, it was pretty bad weather. We were pretty conservative in that one. Northwestern, not really so much. I mean, a little bit of stuff. Before that, I mean, that was 2 bye weeks. Obviously, Rutgers, Maryland, we didn't do a damn thing. Penn State, it's weird because under Urban Meyer, especially the last few years, I continuously was thinking, oh, he's saving something up. And never did. Like, we never saw, it was just the same offense. So I wonder if that's going to change now. If we see some plays on Saturday we haven't seen all year, just to, I don't know. I mean, make a switch to their defense because Don Brown, and give Don Brown credit, the defensive coordinator for the Wolverines. He got absolutely toasted last year on man-to-man coverage and crossing routes. That's all they ran. That's all the Wolverines ran under Don Brown was man-to-man. Straight up, be aggressive, load the box because our corners have us on lockdown. Well, not against Ohio State, you don't. Which is why Dwayne Haskins had, look it up, 396 passing yards last year against the top-ranked defense in the country. 6 touchdowns. So Don Brown's like, shit, I better make some changes. They've been running a little bit more zone this year. They're going to mix it up, man. He's going to give us a lot of looks on Saturday, but I trust Ryan Day. Ryan Day said earlier this week he knows Don Brown very well. Don Brown coached his brother. They were on the same coaching staff, Ryan Day and Don Brown, at UMass, I believe it was, or Boston College. That's what it was, Boston College. He's there with Al Washington Jr., too, the linebackers coach. He knows Don Brown, man. He knows what he likes to do, and he's been mixing it up this year defensively, and I think Ryan Day's just had some stuff ready to attack that zone defense if they see it. I'm not worried about one-on-one matchups. If they want to play us man-to-man all day, I'll take that matchup. I'll take that all day. Now, of course, because it's a big game, it's going to be cold and windy and rainy and snowy for some reason. I guess we can't get away from that this year. Right. I mean, what the hell, man? You think that's going to have a big factor on the game?
I think it's a bigger advantage for us to me. I mean, we've dealt with it more. I mean, we have the better quarterback. So if it's going to do that, we got to just run the ball. And who do you want throwing in elements? Justin Fields or Shea Patterson? You take your pick. I'm just saying. I mean, you can roast me all you want, but if you had to take your pick, who you want throwing in elements, that's all I'm saying. Now, I'd rather it be nice and sunny.
Yeah.
For once in a big game. Can we get it? Can you hold off until the end of the game, please? Sheesh. But I'm just saying. That's what I'd rather have.
Hey.
And our guy Williams, he's been in the chat all day. He's just been going. I mean, he says they're going to lose. He said it from the beginning of the year. But he said we was going to lose a lot of games, beginning of the year. I mean, he's had about 8 of them. So we'll see.
He's just mad Alabama's not getting to the playoffs.
They'll get in. No, they're going to get in. They'll get in. They'll create a spot if they have to. 4A, they'll put them in. Do you think ESPN won't do it themselves? They will fall over. They will pass out. They will create a slot. Even if it's half a game. Oh, wait a minute. Can we just do half a game? They will get them in somehow, some way.
You give them the chance, I'm sure they will. And maybe they'll play. This will be the first year they let the 5 seed in, and they'll play a play-in game for that 4th spot. Oh, man. Eric Lindholm says, pedal to the metal all 4 quarters. Jordan Cole, this game's going to test our heart, even if hopefully our team doesn't get complacent. Joe Roman, greetings from Tampa, Florida. Most complete team I've ever seen most complete team on all sides of the ball in the FBS. Appreciate you guys in the comments section. Let us know where you're watching from, where you're celebrating Turkey Day tomorrow if you are. If not, that's cool. I don't blame you. Probably just happy with the day off of work.
I got a comment on YouTube. Don't know how to take it. I don't know if he's not a fan of either team. But he says his name is Mark. He says OSU and Michigan is like, oh, okay. I read it wrong. He said it's like my Bengals against the Squealers. Well, I feel sorry for your Bengals, but okay. I got it.
I do too.
I didn't see the my Bengals. I just seen the Bengals. So I was like, well, I don't know how to take that.
Hey, man. I think the Bengals will be looking at Joe Burrow next year at that quarterback position.
They just might.
That'd be smart move. That'd be a rare win for the Bengals.
Shout out to you on YouTube. Shout out to everybody on YouTube who's made a comment. We appreciate you.
Yes, indeed. Love all the comments here on Facebook. Appreciate you guys. How are you feeling about the game? Somebody said hashtag free Miles Garrett.
Yes. Free him.
Corey Shoemaker, our guy. David Hemphill says, go Cowboys tomorrow and every day. David Hemphill, he might be rooting for the Browns. Get them Bills a loss. Connie Willison, Clyde Boyd, everybody in here. Chris Mortimer. John Harbaugh's in here. Hey, your Ravens are pretty damn good, John.
Man.
He says, Damon Arnett, another pick six, even with the cast. Boy, I love that. J.D. McGinnis, return of the Mac. Lee Stanley, Chase Young will destroy meat, chicken, lime. Just watch. Michael Egan says, bad weather is always advantage to the other team. Buckeyes roll regardless. You know what I mean? I've gone back and forth on this with the bad weather. I liked your point about we've played in 2 of those games against elite teams already this year. That's good. That makes me feel good. Normally, bad weather plays to the better running team's strengths and kind of just slows everything down, gets it all mucky, low-scoring game. Ordinarily, I would say that benefits the Wolverines, but not this year. They can't run the ball, dude. Just watching them all year, they can't run the ball. They've got a true freshman tailback, Zach Charbonnet. He's decent. Behind him, you've got a kid named Haskins who came as a running back and then was moved to defense, and then they moved him back. Dude, they've got a guy who started as a walk-on at safety playing defensive tackle. I mean, the roster is just in shambles. It's one of those, like, their recruiting classes, they'll get, like, 3 or 4 or 5 guys in, like, the top 100, 200, 300 range, and then everybody else is, like, a low 3-star. And so there's no depth. They've got a few guys that are, star power, but look at Ohio State's roster, man. If we were to go right now, position by position, left tackle, left guard, center, all the way down the line, the entire team, we might pick 1 Wolverine. I mean, the depth is just outrageous. Their defensive line isn't good. They can't run the ball. That's why they've been so good the past few weeks, is because they've been in good weather, and Shea Patterson's been tearing up defenses, just throwing them downfield. Now, when you're playing defenses like Indiana and Michigan State, that's great. Good for you guys. But the Buckeyes are coming to town, who have the number 1 scoring defense in the country and the number 1 pass defense in the country. So it's going to be tough sledding anyway if they try to throw the ball in this snowy, wintry mix and 15-mile-an-hour winds. Bro, it was pretty windy today. I felt like I was going to get blown over. I can't imagine throwing the ball in that. So it's going to be played in the trenches, offensive line, defensive line, the line of scrimmage. And by the way, the winner of the game, each of the last 18 years, has been the team that has more rushing yards. Sign me up for the Buckeyes all day on that. Big game for J.K. Dobbins. Maybe Master Teague breaks out, busts one in the second half for 50, i.e. Beanie Wells in 06 when he was spelling Antonio Pittman. That'd be a hell of a 1-2 punch if we could get Dobbins bust one for a long one for 6, and then Teague follows in the second half. You remember that in 06?
Yeah, man.
Sign your boy up for that right now.
I got something on YouTube, man. From Thomas, from I'm going to butcher this, but I'm going to try my best. Guangzhou, China. Hey.
Let's go.
8:15 in the morning, getting ready to go to work. Thanksgiving dinner at Western restaurant later today. Nervous, but see the Buckeyes 35-20.
Way to go, Thomas. Great score prediction, too.
Shout out from China.
Wow.
And Joseph said, make sure you like to help these fine gentlemen out over on YouTube.
Joseph knows the way to my heart, man.
Shout out everybody over on YouTube.
Appreciate all the commenters in here, of course. We got about 20 minutes left or so in the show. Got started a little bit late. I want to start hearing some bold predictions. I see a lot of comments about Chris Olave, dude. Chris Olave is just, man, I was pissed. Did you hear? There's a little bit of unhappiness, a little unrest in last week's game. Austin Mack came back from injury and started in place of Chris Olave, and he had an up-and-down game. Austin Mack's had an up-and-down career. He'll make some incredible catches, and then have a false start or some easy drops. Bro, you remember he dropped like 4 balls against TCU last year?
Yeah, I remember that game. Oh man.
Very
Woo!
up and down career. I love Austin Mack. Great kid. He's going places, man. He's got his own foundation at Ohio State that he's put together, and I really, really like Austin Mack. But they bring him and they start him ahead of Chris Olave last week. Got more snaps. Chris Olave wasn't getting a lot of targets. And then before the end of the half, we went deep to Olave, and it was kind of a bad throw. I thought he should have caught it in the end zone. Kind of a weird contested catch at the back of the end zone, around kind of right by the goalpost. And after that, Olave just went to the locker room. He was done. He knew he wouldn't get put back in for the next couple plays, and he just went to the locker room before halftime. And I was a little surprised by that, but at the same time, you never want your receivers to act like a diva, and I'm not saying he was, but at some point, maybe Chris Olave's got to say, hey, give me the ball, dude, because he's the best receiver on the team right now, and I'm not sure that it's close. And I was a little worried about that. And we were being real conservative, too. Remember, we just, took a knee or let the clock run out at the 40-yard line with 30 seconds left before half? What are we doing, man? Ryan Day said he wasn't happy with the way the offense looked, and that was right after Olave didn't make that grab in the end zone. But I don't know, man. I think Olave has to be a main focus of this passing attack on Saturday. And you may remember he did pretty well with that last year.
I remember that guy last year. He was pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. His come-out party was against that team.
Bro, the true freshman with 2 receiving touchdowns in the first half and then blocks a punt that's returned for a touchdown in the third quarter. He said he didn't really he said he didn't realize how big this game was and how big his impact was until after the game. Where congratulations, buddy, you're a superstar. Nobody's ever going to forget you for what you have done today. Boy.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you, do you have anybody in mind that can pull off something like the Chris Olave this year, that can kind of storm onto the scene? Couple young skill players that it could be in the running for this, but do you have anybody in mind that could have that kind of Olave surprise impact in this game on Saturday?
I wouldn't say he's a surprise. I don't know if he gets play time. I don't know if he'll get enough because the position is stacked. But I'd say watch out for Garrett Wilson. I mean, you never know what receiver can pop off at any time. Depending on the weather, you never know what can happen. But he could have one of those games. So I'd say Garrett Wilson.
Hey, and he's returning punts too. What a way to put your name on the map. Say, hey, everybody, look at me. I could see that might be part of a bold prediction later. Spoiler alert: Garrett Wilson takes one to the house on special teams. Boy, that would be something. You think Demario McCall plays at all this weekend? After his fumble he hadn't been hardly playing at all this year, and his fumble on the kickoff last year.
I'm going to go with no.
I don't think we'll see much of him unless it's, unless we got a 3-touchdown lead in the fourth quarter.
If we have mop-up duty, I'll be very happy. Yeah, get in there, kid. Yeah, woo. Joseph on YouTube says Jameis Williams, and Mark says Tyreek Smith breakout game.
Hey, I like that. Really like that. My buddy Grinstead, talking about Joe Burrow, we were talking about a little bit ago. He said, we're going to bungle for Burrow. That's pretty funny. Chris Mortimer, Randy Russell says, confident if we have decent weather. If not, I'm nervous. Yeah, I understand that for sure. Lee Travis says, I missed this earlier, said, John is definitely eating meatloaf tomorrow. Man, I wonder what John Goddard's been up to. We haven't seen him in a while. JD McGinnis says, they're hitting their stride. The Wolverines are offensively. Man, I tell you what, I just don't see, when it comes down to this game, and with how good Ohio State's defense is, and if the weather's really going to be that bad, I can't see the Wolverines scoring more than 21, 24 points. I mean, the 21 points is the most we've given up all year. And I don't think it's going to go over that necessarily, especially with bad weather and being fired up, especially our defensive staff, Greg Madison, Al Washington. I feel like that's not being talked enough about. And we kind of mentioned that earlier, but these guys want to prove themselves. Say, hey, you see what you guys are missing?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's getting close. I'm excited. This would be a good time. 15 minutes left. And let me know in the comment section what you think. What is your personal favorite memory of this rivalry, this game throughout the years? Got to be hard to pick one. Doesn't have to be one play in particular. Could be a whole game. Could be one player in said game. But let me know in the comments. I want to hear. It's a good time for it. Corey, what do you think? You got any that are sticking out to you?
Mine would have to, man, you're gonna make me put me on the spot real quick.
I know.
I'm gonna go back. I'm not gonna go recently. I'm gonna go back to the Troy Smith to Anthony Gonzalez when they had to come back. He hit Gonzo. What a throw. What a catch. Those were the games where your heart fell out of your chest. Now, I know people could go, and I know they had the number 1 versus number 2 at Ohio State. You could pick that one. But that game at the Big House when they had to come back, that particular play there, I lost some years off my life. I think that's why I went bald at an early age. Was those years in the rivalry. That play in particular, woo, man, I miss me some Anthony Gonzalez. You know how you have some players where you just wish that, of course, Troy Smith you would keep, but if we could keep a slot receiver forever and they never age, and keep me some Anthony Gonzalez in the slot. He was always dependable on the third down. You knew where Troy was looking. That play right there, man, took some years off my life. I lost my hair, but it was worth it.
Well, that was just a great play. Troy Smith steps up in the pocket to run. I think that was Lamar Woodley in the hole waiting on him. And he just kind of, Michael Jackson, sidesteps him, rolls out to his right, finds Gonzo, makes the leaping catch. He was like horizontal. Man. And then you knew what was coming. Tressel is, because I think we just needed I'm trying to remember. I think we just needed a field goal. I'm trying to remember what the score was. Man, I can't remember. But we gave it to Antonio Pittman, and he won it there for us. Man, that's a great memory. I like that one. I think the one that sticks out the most for me, and it's hard because I was at the 2016 double overtime game. Curtis Samuel, JT Barrett. The spot was good, by the way. I was at that one.
Mm-hmm.
I was in Ann Arbor the following year for 2017 where Barrett went down. Haskins came in and won the game for us. But I'm going to go way back to 2004. It was my first version of the game. And the Wolverines came into Columbus favored by double digits. It was like 14 or something. And my play in particular is Teddy Ginn's punt return for a touchdown. I told this story before, but I was there with my dad, and I was, 10 years old at the time, maybe 11. Ted Ginn swung free on the punt return, and nobody's catching him, obviously. My dad picks me up and squeezes the life out of me so much that knocks the wind out of me. I can't breathe. My dad's holding me. Sets me back down. I put my head in my hands like I'm trying to gather my breath. He looks down at me and thinks I'm just overwhelmed by the moment, so happy. So he picks me up and squeezes the hell out of me again. Oh, man. I thought I was going to die, but hell of a time. I'll never forget it. That's for sure. Any commenters on YouTube or giving their moments?
YouTube. Well, I got some from the previous one. Buckeye Eagle says OHIO. He also said Dobbins, 175 and 3 touchdowns. Garrett Wilson will maul somebody. Mark said my favorite recent play was Sean Wade laying out that tight end last year, and he was trying to fight. He said he'd think it was Wade.
Yep.
And Cheryl says, I miss Troy Smith for sure.
I got score predictions over here as well. Chris Mortimer says 63-39, 1 point better than last year. Joe Roman 42-17, Chris Lyons 49-17, 52-17. David Diaz, man, these are some beatdowns. David Campbell 28-21. Okay, that's more realistic. Stephen Michael 38-14, 31-17. Corey Shoemaker. Chris Pfaff says Jeremy Ruckert catches a touchdown. I love that. Go to the tight ends, baby. Still some comments here about the Myles Garrett situation. I'll let you handle those if you want them. Hey, Chris Pfaff said Ginn's punt return in 04 too. How about that? I didn't see that till just now. I like that. Also said Michael Wiley's run in 98. Boy, that's a classic. We had that one on tape. David Campbell was at the 02 game. That's a fantastic one too. Will Allen picking that off. Man, there are multiple plays every single year, you could say, man. It's a special game. It is a special game. Nick Williams says 54-36. All right, Corey, with about a little less than 10 minutes here, let's get to the picks. Score predictions, bold predictions. Again, let's hear them in the comment section. Score prediction and give us a guy who you think is going to score touchdowns or could be offensive, defensive. I said 5 sacks last week for the defense. It was 6. You want to start us off with the score and bold predictions, Corey?
I'm going to go, I don't know the weather. I'm not a meteorologist. I'll say 50% chance of rain. You can't go wrong with that.
It's either going to rain or don't.
I'm going to go Ohio State. The spread right now is 9 last time I seen it. Supposed to win by 9. So I'm gauging off that. I'm going to go Ohio State 35. The team up north 17. I want to go 17. I want to go with the victory. I want to go by a huge margin. I just got to see it to believe it. I'm nervous, but I'm going to go with what I've seen all year long. For us to be beat 4 quarters, I have to see it to believe it.
Yep.
Last game, we beat ourselves. We dropped the ball 3 times. Dobbins literally dropped the ball. He didn't even get hit. He just dropped it. Now, Fields got hit and he fumbled twice. I'll put that on him. But our defense has been phenomenal this year. My bold prediction is Chase the Predator Young is going to come out like a man possessed. He is going to have bold. This is bold prediction. 5 sacks. 5. Bold. 5. This is bold. You don't go, well, Chase Young is going to get in the backfield and have 5 hurries and 1 sack. No, I'm going bold. 5 sacks on Shea Patterson. Shea Patterson can run, so this is bold, people. 5 sacks, a stripped, forced fumble, a scoop score for Chase Young. That's right. Bold, ladies and gentlemen. If you go bold, you do it. 5 sacks, forced fumble, scoop score for Chase Young.
That would be the school record for sacks in a game.
All right. He's making up for lost time.
Would that win him the Heisman, or is it already Joe's?
It better. That's a bold prediction, daggone it. That's bold. Come on, Chase. After the third one, if you don't triple team him, I don't know what you're doing.
I mean, that's just going to free things up for guys on the other side. How about Zach Harrison making an impact? I like him as a under the radar. I'd like to. I think he'll make a big play. I'm not going to go as far to say that's a bold prediction that he'll have however many sacks or whatnot, but I'm going to call it a little bit closer. I think Ohio State takes it 34-20. Touchdown late. I think J.K. Dobbins scores from inside the 5 with about 8 minutes to go in the game to seal it. Bold prediction-wise, man, I will say I think KJ Hill breaks the record. He needs 6 catches to be Ohio State's all-time leading receiver in terms of receptions, which is incredibly impressive. I've told my dad that 3 times in the last year, and he says it's not true. I'm like, okay, well, it is. He's coming after David Boston, and then he said, because David Boston has a record, my dad's his response is always the same. Well, David Boston only played three years. I'm like, well, either way, KJ Hill's coming for it. I think he gets it. I'm not going to go any crazy stat predictions for KJ, but I think he gets the 6 grab mark and sets the all-time receiving record for receptions at Ohio State. J.K. Dobbins is my guy. I've ridden with him for a while here. I think he'll have, I'm going to say, another 150-yard game, couple of touchdowns. And defensively, how about you know what? I'm going a Jordan Fuller interception. I don't think he's going to take it back to the house because he never does. But Jordan Fuller has had basically the game-closing interception against the Wolverines in 2 straight years. I think he does it a 3rd time. He did it in 2017 when Haskins was the winner because John O'Corn just threw him a frickin' pop fly to center field. The receiver was open, but he didn't throw it to him. And then last year, Chase Young's pressure on Patterson, the ball kind of fluttered out of his hands, and he corralled it at about midfield, maybe the 40 going in. Jordan Fuller with a pick. Book it. Buckeyes win 34-20. Continue the streak. Move it to 8 games. Harbaugh moves to 0-5, I guess, because this is his 5th shot, right? I think so.
Yep. Oh, wow. Steven on Facebook says, I'm the man. Thank you, Steven. I don't know if that was for that bold prediction. That's the bold prediction of the year.
That's bold.
If that comes true, he better win the Heisman, daggone it. And I want credit. I want some credit. just a little sliver. Chris on YouTube says 5, my brother. I pray that comes true. He also said we need to destroy the team up north to justify the committee. And then he says Harbaugh is done. That's Chris over on YouTube.
Appreciate that, Chris. If you didn't notice, folks, Corey and I are dressed for a funeral, and they're serving Wolverine on Saturday at noon. Also, every week it seems like Corey and I are wearing the same color combination. We don't plan this. We don't even talk about our bold predictions before the game. Before the show. I mean, come on.
We don't talk about anything. We just hop on. Before we got on, just for your guys' entertainment, Skype wasn't even working right. That's why we were late.
We had some troubles. I was late.
The way it works.
Hey. Get to some score predictions here before we sign off. Johnny Wright is a resident Wolverine fan in the comments section. He says 35-24. Chris Struder says, glad you give KJ Hill his respect. Man, Chris, thank you, man. KJ Hill is my guy. I've been saying it for 4 or 5 years now. He flipped from Arkansas to Ohio State on signing day. He's from Little Rock, coming up to be just, doesn't know anybody up here, obviously, and love me some KJ Hill. Is just a guy that doesn't write. Always has. Travis Pyatt says Master Teague and JK both with 100 yards and a touchdown. I like that, man. I will go back. I'll throw in a Master Teague touchdown for sure. Why not? Hey, if I say like 15 different predictions and like 3 of them come correct, does that make me good?
No.
Michael Egan, 38-21 Bucks. Chase Young, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. Justin Fields, 4 total touchdowns. Chris Olave, 100 yards and 2 scores. J.K. Dobbins, 150 yards. All of that, Michael, sounds very, very reasonable. I could easily see that happening. Lee Travis says his bold prediction is Harbaugh runs off the field with diarrhea. Man, pulling a Joe Paterno there. Oh, you remember that in, was that 06? Joe Pa needed to change the pants, man. Ooh, I guess that happens when you get that old. I could
our guy Teddy on YouTube says Ohio State wins 72-29.
Who said that?
Teddy Hahn over on YouTube.
All right, Teddy.
I'm going to remember that one. 72.
I'm remember that one too. JD McGinnis says Chris Olave 3 touchdowns. I love the Olave talk, man. JD also said 45-20. I tell you, they better throw the frickin' ball to Chris Olave. And just as a final note, I believe after this game we will finally be done with any bad weather. It's going to be like 30, low 30s, wintry mix, lot of wind. But after today, or after Saturday, I should say, you got the Big Ten title game and then hopefully 2 games in the playoffs, all of which are inside in domes. Then we're playing, you let the athletes loose. Then you throw the ball 35 times. I'm not sure they will. I think Ryan Day will be a little conservative with Justin Fields this week because what he did against Penn State, I think he realized we can dumb it down and run the ball and still win this game. And maybe he thought our team needs this. Our team needs a close game. We don't need another 42-7. That's a little bit risky now, but I also think he didn't plan on fumbling the ball 3 times. That's the thing, man. If Ohio State can control the ball, if they don't turn the ball over, if Ohio State finishes the game with no turnovers, there's no chance that they lose. Book it.
Nope.
That's all I got, man. A few more comments. Corey Shoemaker agrees. Says, F yeah, getting those domes. Let them show out. Justin Rummans says, will Harbaugh lose his job if he loses this year? I don't think so, man. I really don't. At what point, this is like maybe Ohio State's best team ever, which is a little crazy to say, but I don't think we've ever looked this dominant. You can't blame Harbaugh for losing to this Ohio State team. And I know he's lost 4 in a row, but he also ran into a buzzsaw in Urban Meyer when he took the job. Urban Meyer, top 3 college football coach of all time. I don't think he loses his job. I don't think he should. At the same time, who would they get that's better than Jim Harbaugh, that's better for their university? I don't know, man. Do you think he's on the hot seat or anything?
Nope. And that's not me. That's not me saying it because I'm a Ohio State fan and he's good for us, which he is. But who do you go get? Like, when everybody wants a coach fired, you have to have like a backup plan. You have to have somebody that can just come in and do the job. Like, his name will keep that team relevant. Regardless of what they do against us, they will always be relevant. Every year, they will be in the top 15 going into the season. Every year, just because of that name and the recruiting he brings, no matter what me, you, or us as a fan base thinks. So unless you got somebody coming in that can do that for you, I can see why their fans say it. Get rid of him. I get it, but who do you have to replace him? I'm just saying.
David Hemphill, pardon me, says Jim Harbaugh is the Wolverines' John Cooper. It's like hell of a coach, does great all year, great recruiter. Maybe I shouldn't say great recruiter, but pretty damn good recruiter. And, just can't get the job done, at least so far. But that's why we play the games, man. That's why the Buckeyes are in Ann Arbor, 12 noon on Fox. Be sure to tune in to Big Noon Kickoff. I don't know if you saw this, Corey. If you watched Big Noon Kickoff this past week, it was outside the Horseshoe. When they introduced Urban Meyer on Big Noon Kickoff, man, I was getting the chills. That atmosphere was crazy. The fans were going batshit crazy for like 3 minutes. They couldn't move on to the next segment. Rob Stone was like looking around, like trying to desperately do his job to say, we now move to the all-state predictor or whatever. And the crowd was just so damn loud. Urban got up and fired him up. He said, these are my people. I don't think they're going to get the same response in Ann Arbor this weekend. They are going to be live on site outside of the big house. That's going to be something I'm really excited to watch because Fox Big Noon Kickoff, Rob Stone's going to say, he introduces the cast, and then he's going to stop, slow it down a little bit and say, and that's former Ohio State head coach Urban Meyer. And I am excited to hear the reaction up there.
Yeah, man.
God, man. 3 days away. Tomorrow, enjoy Turkey Day. Friday, I hope you don't have to work. I got to work, but it's about a half day. I'll take it. I'll take the OT just to get my mind off of it. The Bearcats play at 3:30. If you watch this show, I'm a little worried about the Bearcats on Friday at Memphis, but we'll see. Playing for a home conference championship game, which would be really cool. I like that. The American Conference, Corey, the higher seed, the higher ranked team in the conference championship game just hosts it at their home campus. I think that's pretty cool.
Hey.
That'd be huge for Cincinnati, but enjoy the holidays, folks. I appreciate everybody in the comment section keeping us going all night, as you always do.
I got a couple more over here. I wanted to get to. Buckeye Eagles, he said 42-21. Chase has 4 sacks, 5 tackles for a loss, and a fumble recovery for a touchdown. And Chris says the urban legend has passed. It's a new day. And Buckeye Eagles said Justin Fields, 150 passing and 75 yards rushing and 4 total touchdowns.
I can see that for sure. 225 total for Fields. Nothing crazy, not going to blow you out of the water, but efficient, tough. The dude is 6'3", 230, man. He is built. He is strong. He is tough. He doesn't necessarily look like it, but that is a grown man on that field, and I'm happy that he's wearing the scarlet and gray. Appreciate everybody in the comment section, as always. But that's going to do it.
Yes, sir.
For Producer G putting on the show for us.
Yes, sir.
Who is in Facebook jail. Free Producer G. Get it trending for us.
Yes. Free G.
I'm telling you, man. We need him. That's Corey Boyd. I'm Jake Smith. Signing off. Go Bucks. Beat the Wolverines. We'll see you soon.